segment. I'm your host, Kevin McDermott. And tonight we'll be talking about an international affair. For those who have read the newspapers over the years, you'll know that in Sudan, which has now split into two countries, the Republic of Sudan and South Sudan, has a long history of troubles and advances. So we're privileged tonight to have with us two people who are representatives of the Sudanese community here in Chicago. Our guests tonight are James Deng, who is the president of the Sudanese Community Association, and Makur Lual, who is the public speaker and an advisor to the group, right?
Right.
Welcome, gentlemen, to the show. It's a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So, James, let's start with you. You're the president of the association. So, can you tell us a little bit about when it was formed and what the purpose of the association was and is today?
I would say thank you for the time you take to welcome us to this show. And your question, yes, when the Sudanese Community Association been formed was January 2001. We've been here on 2000.
That is you and the
Me and
community
Wilson
you're here.
and all some other friend.
Mm-hmm.
We come refugee.
Okay.
When we come refugee in the state of Illinois, we find ourselves all about we are Sudanese. And the culture is the difference between Sudan and the United States culture.
I bet that's an understatement, right? It's probably very different.
It's very, really different. In the way we can connect ourselves, we think we can have a Sudanese community association. It can bring us together because we have a culture different. And also, in a country, if we come, they have a different country, different law, and different everything. That's why we think we can have a Sudanese community. And the Sudanese community, it was functioned from 2001. It was been elected in one guy named Manuel Bol. It was the president previous. And again, we elect another guy named Malwala Wak. Is the previous president. I'm been elected on 2013. And 2015, we're going to have another election to find another president for the Sudanese Community Association.
Will you run again, or are you done?
I'm going to run
Good
because I didn't achieve what I need to be done.
Okay.
And the Sudanese community, we have a lot of need. That's why we need a community. First of all, we have a culture. We need to keep our culture for our kid and our woman and ourselves. Keep a unity together because the community can bring us together like one family.
Now, how large is the Sudanese community in Chicago, in this area?
We have 800
members.
800 members of the Sudanese community.
That's quite large.
And also, some people we didn't know because these people, we know them.
Mm-hmm.
But the rest of people come a long time ago, we didn't know them, we not count them. We know, whatever we know, did what we say, and 800 people in the state of Illinois.
Mm-hmm.
And this community, we apply for the state Illinois. Now we're waiting for a 501c3 to be function. Mm-hmm. We need to make a center, Sudanese Community Center in the state of Illinois. We can get ESL class,
mm-hmm.
the second language, because we come different languages.
Yes.
And also we can get a daycare for our children because we will not be available to afford to pay a daycare, but we have our center. We can take our kid there because mom and dad, they are working together. We need to pay a bill.
Mm-hmm.
And also we can keep language culture. A kid can know where they come from, to know their language.
And to know their history.
Yes, to know history. And also, if our women, they can learn ESL and what other thing going on in this culture. To get training for a job to be ready. And also computer. You can be teach for a computer to find some job because now everything become technology.
Yes, it's true.
Did what we're thinking, and also we have a kid, they are going to college. We can be available to raise money to get some fund to our children because we don't have any finance. Because the Sudanese community, it can help our kid to go into university or college.
So how did it get started? And Wilson, maybe you can answer this. At some point, you had to recognize that there were other members of the Sudanese community here. And how did you find enough of them to create the association? How did you originally get in touch and pull this together?
Yeah, when we knew that we have few number of Sudanese, we start calling one another.
Mm-hmm.
That was 2001, as you say.
Mm-hmm.
So there are few members who were really very supportive of the idea. Somebody like Malual and Bolquanyin and himself, James and John Nakal is from Nuba Mountain.
Mm-hmm.
And Zainab Ali is from is from North Sudan. So we came up with that idea and we did the meeting in apartment the first day, try to find all these things. So I really appreciate those members who come up and support the idea. Myself, I was one of them. We see the idea is good. It will bring us together.
And you were there at the founding in 2001?
I am one of the founders, yeah.
Now, you actually have a very interesting story as well about having, actually both of you do, of having come to this country. You came here about the same time, but through much different paths, correct? And you did not know each other in Sudan, now South Sudan, right? So, Wilson, describe a little bit about what you were experiencing when you decided to leave Sudan, and then how you managed to get here.
Yeah, what I experienced when I left Sudan was there was a war going on, and the life was become difficult. Some of my family members, including my elder brother, was one of the former SPLA army. So when you have one of the families who joining the rebel to fight the government, you really, that kind of family will be in target.
So you became a target?
I became a target in some other groups. So it took us from 83 to 85, 87. My father passed away because he could not make it to go to town and get treatment because he's the father of the rebel.
So he could not have been treated in the town,
correct.
Right?
So by that way, a group of children and some others rebels took us all the way from South Sudan to Ethiopia. So it took us about 2 to 3 months. I don't remember, by that time I was about 12 going to be 13 years of age.
Now, this is a group that came to be known in the West as the Lost Boys, right?
Correct.
And so you were part of that group that
I'm
moved,
part of that group.
and you walked to Ethiopia,
I walked
correct?
to Ethiopia. I don't know how many mileage, but somebody can Google it from. I come
long
all
way.
the way from the North Upper Nile, which is becoming north of South Sudan right now, which is close to the north before when Sudan was one. So it's not an easy walk. It took us a long time in the bushes, try to avoid the government troops, militias, some other tribes, and animals on the River Nile and the Sobat rivers. So it was quite challenging.
So I know coming from an American perspective, it's almost hard to picture this, but so the government would have attacked you if they'd known.
Correct.
Some of the militias might have attacked you or tried to conscript you into their army.
Correct.
Right? There are just local people who would have seen you as an invader or an outsider.
Correct.
And how much did you have to fend off of animals? I mean, we don't even think of that in this country, but at least I don't. But you were in the wilderness, and so there were predators in the wilderness, right?
It was not easy. I saw some of the movie in America here. People want to get experience. They went to the bushes. So during nighttime, those who be older than us, they will surrounding us, and there will be a firewood to be burned all night
to
keep
away.
the animal away from us. That's the technique we were using. And not just only animals, there is also mosquito, which was very, so you could find 5 to 10 people in a one mosquito net, whether it's feeding you or not. That's another issue.
The net was meant for one, but there would be 10 of you.
10 of you who will be there to avoid mosquito net to sleep at night. So that's another experience I went through. Crossing some rivers, it depends what season you went. Like I left on a rain season, it was not easy. So those who are taller than kids, they had to put people carrying us to across certain kind of small rivers.
There's so much I want to ask about that, but I know we only have a half an hour. So James, I'll come back to you. You also left Sudan about the same time, and what was it that made you decide that you could no longer stay in your home country?
It actually, in 1983, and the war started by between SPLM and Khartoum government. And after 1984, the government decided to deploy militia to the old village. When militia come to our village, to my hometown, he burn every houses. He take all animals, take cow and all animals we have. And also, she took a lot of kids. When she get young, like 13 girl and 15 boy, they can kill. But all the girls, they take them away, including my sister-in-law. They took
abducted, just gone.
They took them away. In that area, when they come to the village, they burn all the village. Everybody run away. You don't know your mom, you don't know your dad, you don't know your brother. Everybody, he just run his life.
Scattered.
They have some place close to the town. This is what Arab militia, this is what they find like area. You run to them because if the government in Khartoum would decide to destroy all the south village, you come to the north, they can allow you to come into Khartoum.
They would allow you to come in?
They can allow you to come in. You not kill. You get killed, you kill. You get be slave, they can slave you. Like a kid grows, they take them away to make them slave. That point I was left. My mom and my dad, they left their own. I left my own. I came to Khartoum. My mom and my dad, they left their own in different way. After I came to Khartoum, because the Khartoum government, they make some place for refugee. When you run from the south to come to Khartoum, they find you, they take you like 3 hours a mile, 3 hours away to the city. That they call a refugees place. Nobody can go there. Like West people Outside the country, people, they cannot go there.
So was it like a prison?
You cannot come you cannot come to the city. They keep you guys there. Just UN, they can bring some water or some food in that area. You come to the capital city, they give you a card. They tell you how long you're gonna be back to this place. You don't know with the president, or you don't know it's refugees camp, wherever you live there. This way I come from south to Khartoum. My mom and my dad also, they come different way. We met, we went, we've been in a refugee camp in Khartoum more than 8 years.
But you met each other in the camp. You were
Yeah.
able to find each other.
Yeah. After that, when war a little bit we come down, my dad, he said he want to go back to south. He went back. After he went back, he died. He passed away. My mom is here in Khartoum. After 1999, government in Khartoum, she opened a little bit because they tried to get the southern Sudanese people out in the country in Khartoum. If you want to get out in Khartoum, they can allow you to leave the country.
As long as you go back to the south.
No, even
Just
you not go back to the south.
Oh, leave the country
Leave the country.
altogether?
Yeah.
Okay.
This is what I'm thinking, because a refugees camp, no job, nothing you can eat, no medicine, you just sit there. I decided to leave the country to come to Egypt. They allowed me to come to Egypt because Egypt, he opened a UNHCR office in Egypt. You can come to apply in political asylum. I left, I come to Egypt, I apply, I wrote my case, what happened to my family, what happened to me, they accept me. And that point, I ordered my family to come to Egypt. That's why I come here in the United States with my wife and my children. I come here with 9 children.
You were able to bring the entire family
Yeah.
to the United States.
Yeah. And after 2005, when a peace agreement been signed, and all the family, other family, they back to the south. My brother and my mom, they were the refugees camp. They left back to the south.
So they're in the south today?
They are in the south today. My mom just passed away on May 23 in this year.
Right,
But
something.
my brother and my sister, they're still in the south. That's the way we left the country.
So you now are, and your entire immediate family are here in the United
Yeah,
States?
my
Chicago.
wife and my kid, we are here in Chicago, here in DePay County in Wheaton.
So Wilson, how much of your family, is any of your family here?
Yeah. I have my wife and 4 kids here.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how much does each of you keep in touch with now South Sudan? Because both of you are from the South, so now that that's an independent country, how much do you keep in touch with your contacts back in South Sudan?
Yeah, through telephone right now, since the country get independent in 2011, they have some kind of network which is not very strong. Try to call it. We buy some cards here in American store, so they don't have a landline in South Sudan. Everything is cell phone.
Right.
So you try to call. If it go, it go. It doesn't go, it go. So we communicate maybe twice a month, once a month. But for those who are living in the capital city, the service is good for the communication, so you can call. But in a rural area, it's a different cases because of satellite network is not strong.
So does either of you go back, do you go back to South Sudan with any regularity? No.
Yeah, I went back to Sudan since I left country in 87, then stay in Ethiopia and come to US 2006. I decided to go and find my mom because I ran away and I heard that she's alive and some others brothers. So it was been over 20 years without seeing my mom. So I went back to 2007.
And were you able to find your mother and your brothers?
I find my mother, and one of my brother was killed. But I find my mom.
He was killed during the war, as part of the war.
Yes, during the war in the oil-rich area. He was not in the army, but he was being caught because some of the members are a rebel remnant, so that's how they
Right.
kill him.
Now there is still, well, actually, I'll come back to that. I want to talk about the fact there's still unrest in there. There's still the president and his chief lieutenant are still in South Sudan are still at odds. But before I do that, I'd like to talk a little bit with you, James, about the culture and the parts of the culture that you want to preserve here in the U.S. and what elements of that? I mean, what parts of the culture are you working hard to try to preserve? So give me an example of something that's very different from the U.S. that you want your children to know about and practice.
Actually, the culture we have in Sudan, we have very large different culture because Sudan is a very large country and they have different languages and different culture. The only culture we have now, like here, we use like Arabic culture. In English, people can speak English and Arabic. And also, in our women, they are really very good to cook our culture, home food. When we have a party, with our women, they cook food home. They bring it to the party. We eat our own food home.
That's hard to find otherwise.
Yes, this is really one of them in the culture. And keep our family together to know each other, where they come from. That's why, because we have some kids, they are born here in the United States. They don't know where they come from.
Right.
When they know Wilson's son, like now here, Wilson's son and my son, they look themselves like brother. They speak the same language, Denka, and in English, even they don't know Arabic, but they speak Denka in our mother tongue.
So both of your children do speak Dinka now?
Dinka, yeah. The mother tongue, this way we keep them, we can know their themselves. That's why we keep this community, can everybody be very close to each other.
And do you worry about, actually, Wilson, do you worry about that? I mean, as we know, once you get a generation or two away from your home country, things very much change. Like your children may feel themselves just simply to be Americans because they were born here. Do you see that happening, and how do you wrestle with that to I'll just say to them, yes, you were born here, yes, you're an American, that's okay, but let's not forget this other part. So how do you do that with them?
It's very struggle. Yeah, it's not an easy test. Two of them born here and two of them born in Ethiopia, but they come very young. So they both become Americanized. So telling them the story, where I came from, and a little bit of culture is not easy. So there is a lot of worry that we are going to have a generation who will not be really a South Sudanese or will not be really knowing the tribe where their parent came from.
Right.
And that's why we create a Sudanese community, and then we have another church that we create the same time where we conduct our service on Sunday. Try to bring those kids closer. So we have a Sudanese community church in Wheaton that we do the service every Sunday, 1 p.m. Try to bring those kids together and knowing one another. And you go to that church, you may find some 6 to 7 tribe language within the church. But the main language we use is the adults use Arabic to understand one another because we don't speak the same language. We are from different tribes.
So that's interesting. So the common language at the church is Arabic.
It's Arabic.
Interesting. But everyone, of course, speaks English as well. But
Correct.
But the choice is to speak Arabic because that's more, because you spoke Arabic in Sudan.
And not all of us who knew Arabic either. So those who preach on the Sunday, they use both language. English to target our kids who are English speakers, and Arabic to target the adults. That's how the service go. So we are really very worried about the kid the culture they are in is like somebody go in a deep ocean who does not know what are the risks in the ocean, whether he or she know how to swim or not. That's what we are struggling.
So have you taken your children back to Sudan at any time to
Not-
introduce them to the?
Not at all.
Actually, not yet, because this is really need a financial. To take a family here to South Sudan is costs a lot of pocket money, but we're thinking about that. Some member of the community, they took 2 of them, 3 of them to back home to see a country. But me and Wilson, we are not yet to take our kid.
Not
but
yet there.
But on the road.
Is it safe enough in South Sudan today to take them back?
Right now, no. I can say no, because it's country now, we have a problem right now.
Right.
We cannot be available to take it. But some other part of the country is good. People, they are coming back, because we are already citizens here in America, and also we are both citizens in South Sudan and the United States.
Oh, that you can have dual citizenship with the South Sudan and the United States?
We are not
Correct,
a
yeah,
citizen,
dual
not,
citizenship,
but we
yeah,
can
two
have
citizen.
both
Yeah.
citizens here.
Oh, that's
Yeah, but we went 2009, me and Wilson, before the referendum. We just visited to see family, to see people. But now we have a plan. Next trip, maybe someone can take 2 kids or 3 of them. You have for the ticket, because it's very expensive, 2,000 US dollar ticket in one of them, without no money
That's a
pocket.
lot of money.
Yeah, but that one you need to work hard to get a ticket. You can take 2 kids, you can go there for 2-3 months, you can come back here.
So this is a difficult question, but children, especially teenagers, always think that their parents don't know anything, right? When you get to be about 16, 17, you feel that your parents are just weird and you know what's going on and they don't. I know I felt that way when I was that age. So do you wrestle with that? Where do you see that your children may reject the culture that you bring and say, well, that's old, that's your stuff, that's not mine? Is that an issue that you see, and if so, how do you work with that?
It is an issue. We already in that culture where the age been set up. If you are 18, then by the culture or law of this country, you are free to do anything. So a lot of the parents who come out as immigrants is an issue. We are struggling. They don't look us. If we don't speak a perfect English, they think, oh, they don't know nothing. So it's really struggling. We're struggling with the teenagers, plus this technology.
But the association is a way to try to work with that.
That's why we are trying to have this association of Sudanese Community Association and Sudanese Church.
To bring them all
bring
together.
them all.
So on that note, believe it or not, we're already out of time.
Okay.
I want to thank you so much for being here. It's been wonderful to have you. I'm really appreciative that you would come on this show and share your stories with me. So James and Wilson, thank you so much for being here.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you. I would thank you too, but you invited us to come.
Well,
we can tell our community people to let them know we need unity, we need to come together to support our community, our children. It is very important. This is number 1 for our life here.
And with that, we have to end.
Thank you.
Thank you. So thank you for joining us once again for Public Perspective. I'm your host, Kevin McDermott. You can see us every Saturday night at 8 on Comcast Channel 19 and find us on the web at publicperspective.tv. So until next time, thank you and good night.